No, they're not building a resort in Gaza. That's not really what's going on. Who is this? Who said that? Want to build a resort in Gaza? Janet, did you see the rebuild? I'm pretty sure I got it right. You guys want to see? I drew a picture. Whimsy drew a picture. She got to get in trouble with BB. Oh, BB. BB don't love me no more. No more. I ain't getting no love from BB. I just worked it out. I worked it out. But this is, you know, thank you for bringing that up, by the way. Uh, this is probably what the rebuild looks like. They're now clearing this where it says security over here. This is the Philadelphia quarter, which is getting cleared today of the bombs. And also Egypt is coming in over here right now as of today. And I think it's because they're going to be having a temp shelter and Oasis Sinai here. By the way, I did a remote view last night on Oasis Sinai because I'm pretty sure that's what they're doing today. They're starting to clear this area. And this is where they will house anti-Hamas people. They're trying to get away from these terrorists, and the terrorists are like clinging to them and using them as shields. They're like, get the fuck away from me. So Hamas only has like 35% support in some areas. These people are trying to get away from these psychopaths, and they're being followed around this prison with these nut jobs. So who are digging holes and firing and they're in the middle of this, right? So if you had an Oasis Sinai, that people could flee into the cyanide, take an oath. We are not Hamas. We hate Hamas. Spit on the ground. Do whatever you got to do. We check you, security. Okay, they don't have weapons. Get them into this safe zone. And then phase 2, you say, okay, bozos, terrorists that have been terrorizing the people of Gaza for long enough. We will give you an option. You either get the hell out, phase 2. You either get the hell out, phase 2, or we're going to frickin' liquidate you. So the safe zone is for the Gazan people. The Palestinians are running to Oasis Sinai to get away from the terrorists. That's what we're saying. So they run over here, which is happening right now. They're bulldozing the last of this. So what's the holdout? Egypt is a haggling society. We are hagglers. We are proud Egyptian Bedouins. Beautiful culture, by the way. I built this thesis based on the culture. I'm giving the Bedouin people back their culture. That's all I'm doing. I'm an anthropologist. Don't blame me. Blame yourselves. You created the Oasis, right? We're just giving you your heritage back. Happy to help return back to you what belongs to you, right? That's the whole point of an Oasis. But I think they're haggling. Egypt wants something. What you going to give us? What you going to get? No, absolutely not. Jordan, no, we will not create a safe zone while you liquidate these Iranian terrorists. Well, let's haggle. What if I increase your aid to Egypt? No. What if I increase your aid to Egypt and I give you EU support? No. What if I also offer to put in international funding and reinvest in Egyptian projects? Maybe. What if we start hiring Egyptians locally to be part of the Oasis so that we can integrate them into Egyptian society in a safe zone, and we supply employment to locals in that area, which is depressed? And we up the amount of money we give Egypt. Maybe. You see, we got to haggle. And we're dealing with honor and respect and culture, and we have to do it in a way where we're sensitive to the fact that, they're going to haggle for the best deal. That's the rebuild. But in terms of how you have to do it, what's the sticking point? The sticking point was that Biden was not happy with phase 2. exchange hostages and send Hamas to host country. This is where we're headed, folks. We already got to ceasefire. We've already gotten something like, what was it, 8, 10, 12 hostages back. We've got like 50 more to go, 40, 50 more to go. We're headed to phase 2, and it's extremely dangerous. It's extremely dangerous because phase 2 is when we say, look, the civilians have made it to Sinai. You're safe. You're on the other side of this. Those of you who are Hamas, Islamic Jihad, you can't stay. You murdered a baby. You raped children. We cannot rebuild with you here. Now, we will do more for you than the United States did in World War II. We're not going to drop a bomb like they did on Hiroshima and Nagasaki on a civilian population. We're not going to do that. We're going to get you to Sinai temporarily. And then I strongly suggest that Hamas take this deal. We're going to do even better than the United States. We're not only going to try and get civilians out of the area, but we're going to give you a choice whether or not you want to live or die. This is where we're at, okay? Not the little fantasies of Zank over at TYT. This is the real data. This is the real world. So this is what Biden had a problem with, because this is not going to end well. This is not going to end well. This is not going to end well, because when you're dealing with crazy people who are that fanatical, that are willing to do anything and everything in order to win, it's going to be bloody. And there are people that just can't do that. They can't make that choice. They can't. The type of brutality that may be needed is a brutality that I think Democrats would have had. We would have not necessarily been able to carry out this phase of the war. And if we had how long would World War II? This is the question that Elon Musk is asking you, right? He's asking you right now. Right now, he's asking you, how long would World War II have gone on if we had not dropped the bombs? How long would the war? Somebody is going to have to drop the bomb. If it's not you, then who is it? That's what they're saying to us. So then the question becomes, how much? How much is Egypt going to have to be paid in order to agree to this? Right? Anybody want to talk about it? Let me see if I have something else here. People are mad. They're mad about Oasis One. They're mad that we went to billionaires to fund this thing. We cannot be the enemy of the good. It's happening right now. Because we're perfect. We want it to be perfect. We don't want people to suffer. Here's that. You saw my map. This is the actual map. You see where the bombings are happening? Look. You see onto the left? If we can. The thing that we could not do. That's what this is about. That is the holdup between us and them, between the brutality of somebody like Musk, Bezos, Zuckerberg. They don't agree with us. These people, you look at, they're war buffs. They're war buffs, World of War. And they got together and they made a decision. And that decision was incinerate them. And that meant they had to split with the Democrats. They basically said it publicly, like RFK Jr. said it publicly, Zuckerberg. It's not that they wanted to accept phase 2. Sometimes you have to drop the bomb. And so they split with Biden over this issue. And that's what happened. And we can talk about it. If Biden didn't agree to it, excuse me, I've got a frog in my throat. If Biden didn't agree to it, would Harris have agreed to it? That's the conversation. Let's see here. Let me show you something. We're haggling. This is a Middle Eastern culture. No does not mean no. It means give me a better offer. So, yeah. Sources point to historical precedent. Let's see. A confidential document obtained by Israeli Hayom reveals that the Ministry of Intelligence prepared an analysis in the second week of the war, concluding that voluntary humanitarian evacuation of civilian population from Gaza to other countries worldwide represents the option that will yield positive long-term strategic results for Israel, in plain words, least amount of deaths. The ministry advocates this approach over alternatives such as installing Palestinian Authority governance in Gaza or fostering local Arab leadership. Drafted before Israel's ground operation in Gaza, the recommendation to facilitate population evacuation was initially aimed at minimizing, I want to go on record because I'm one of the people that sent in this recommendation, civilian casualties. Sorry, this frog is in my throat. While the Biden administration expressed reservations about Gazans leaving the Gaza Strip, and Egyptians' firm opposition ultimately led to shelving the idea, Israeli sources now indicate the proposal has gained renewed relevance, particularly given the possibility of resumed combat operations. Plain words, people blamed Biden for the holdup that we couldn't get to phase 2. And they used that as one of the excuses for why they got behind Trump. Whether it was right or wrong, they didn't think that Harris would let it happen, and so the war would never end, and it would be just endless hell because nobody was willing to drop the bomb and end the damn thing. And so that was basically their argument. Whether you agree with whether we agree with what their argument was, whether they think they were right or wrong, that was the argument that they used. You guys want to talk about it? I would want to relocate as I envisioned it, I envisioned a safe zone somewhere like Sinai. And I envisioned that if I were creating a refugee area that would be an oasis, that could actually become a really cool place. You could get volunteers from all over the country coming in, young people like Peace Corps. You could fall in love and meet boys. But I envisioned it being over here on the left where it says Oasis Sinai would be the corridor where they could escape to, and then they go through security, and then they have to renounce Hamas, that we renounce terrorism. We want to live in peace. We want peace. We are not terrorists. We're not bringing in guns. You search them, you bring them in, they renounce Hamas, and then you take them into safety. So this is a dividing line. This is probably how it's going to happen, how I reasoned it in my mind. Now you've got a huge security problem with Oasis Sinai, because now poor Sisi has got, oh my God, what have you done to me? What have you done to me? So EU is now headed there. The EU and United Arab Emirates and other countries are coming in to help with the security, because we don't want this to become a bunch of nut jobs moving in. Like, you're bringing this disaster here because these people are being held hostage by these wingnuts from Iran, right? They're smuggling in. And people are taking money on the Egyptian side because they're making money from smuggling bombs. So for us to do this is putting a pressure on Sisi, right? You're bringing the nut jobs over here. So that is why there has to be international, and that's what's happening at this moment. They're haggling. Now you've got a division. Everyone who wants peace has entered Oasis Sinai. Everybody who wants war is in the center, where I said, beautiful pearl necklace, right? Bomb here, right? And then you basically say to Hamas, after you've gotten the last of your hostages, here is a one-way ticket to Algeria. The weather is beautiful in Algeria this time of year. It was war. No one's coming after you, but you're a soldier and you're a threat to the country, and we give you the opportunity to leave. You can't stay, right? Go live a happy life in Algeria. Maybe in 20 years, when the oasis is up and running, it'll be another time, another period. You can apply to the government of Gaza, which will be run by normal people, normal Palestinians, right, that are not crazy and part of a death cult. The people of Oasis Sinai will build the new Jerusalem in Gaza. Have faith in them, but they need the crazies to get out. So most will leave, because cowards, bullies are usually cowards, and I think that they will leave, and if they don't, they will be liquidated. That's phase 2. And phase 3 is we rebuild. We rebuild. Could we have relied on Harris to have done this? Was it sexism that made them think that she didn't have the balls to do it? To make that tough decision? To say, here's your one-way ticket. I will stay and die in Gaza killing the Jews. Well, then I'm sorry, we're going to drop the bomb on you. We gave you a ticket out. We released your prisoners, and now here's a one-way ticket out. Take that deal. Would they take the deal? How many are going to take the deal? That's the other thing, right? So if you also have to look at it as, if somebody is part of a death cult, I mean, you could look at it like it's a death cult. It's a type of death cult, right? then, I mean, in a way, you could argue that no amount of money is going to convince them to leave a death cult if somebody truly believes in it, right? What do you think? Opinions, arguments. Sometimes in war, tough decisions are made. People say that. People say that. People say that we wouldn't have gotten to peace. We wouldn't have had the end of the Second World War if it hadn't been for the dropping of the bombs, and I don't agree. We would have eventually seen the end of the war, but how long would America have been dealing with kamikaze pilots dropping bombs on, civilians? Like how long, or bombing U.S. Troops, right? There were boats. They were bombing our boats, right? My father was on one of those boats that got hit. So the question is, other than luring them from, if you don't lure, you have to understand the choices that are made. If you don't lure them out, you draw more fighters in. What's human nature? Oh, there's a fight over there. Let's go take a look. Oh, there's another fight. Let's go take a look. And then it never ends. You keep drawing more and more fighters into the battle. The only way you can put an end to this is you must have phase 2. You have to give people, or it's going to go on forever, and like it's been going on forever. You pay people to leave. Might not be the best decision, but it was the best decision you got. History will tell if we got it right. Those of us that gave our data will be forgotten in history, I hope. But you do the best you have with what history will show whether we got it right or wrong. Yeah. All right. So on that note, we're going to go ahead and do the collective, because you need a lot of money to do something like that. So you go where the money is. Perfection cannot be the enemy is the best thing I could come up with. You got something better? You know what? When I went before the IDF, I was begging everybody I knew for advice. Every man I had ever been romantically involved with, or, all I got was criticism. I went and I did this on my own because I wasn't getting the support I needed. So, like I said, criticism from the peanut gallery. Everybody else could have written their own proposal.